Here we are for the start of turn 7, and there are the buys. Russia's starting to get a little weak on the buys. So is China. UK Pacific. And ANZAC, just a steady pace. Always subject to change as we get moving on here. So let's widen this out. So Germany, I'll briefly show you Gibraltar there because they are all hitting the road. So let's combine up or get a little closer up here into Russia so you can see what's going on there, because that's going to be the only combat. I don't need to bomb London's factory because it has like 18 I think on it. So we'll save those bombers for the meantime. We're going to go into Leningrad, which is defended by 14 infantry and an anti-aircraft gun. Do a walk on there. And I don't really want to step next to all those tanks. I can kill that guy, but they can still come around if I want to move into Rostov to go after Stalingrad next turn. But I gotta believe there's really no good route here because there's just enough infantry and artillery spread around to combine with those tanks for a good punch that might be able to get into those German armor there. But I still think I need to move. Well, Rostov's still only one. I think if I can move there and maybe draw out the Russian tanks, I don't know. Or I could wait until reserves catch up and another build turn there in the two factories that Germany now has, which might be the best way to go. So we'll move one guy in there. I'm out of German markers. Alright, so I've only got 2 planes, so maybe we should just go for the 2 guys in Rostov. We'll send in 2 there with that, along with the 2 planes, so we can protect our factory at least. And I want to use this bomber here to bomb Stalingrad. So he'll have 3 movements left. Fighter and Stuka will have 3 movements left. I could use these German bombers. Let's see if they can reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can get back to Poland. But I kind of want to leave them over here just briefly because I'm going to pull those planes up. And I've got some subs to get into position so that at least there is a threat of attack on that US fleet off Gibraltar on the following turn. So I won't risk them bombing London for 2 more points of damage on that factory. So we'll just leave those there. And here's our walk-on. Alright, so moving into Leningrad, I'll line my infantry up here. There's 6, there's 8 from the Baltics, there's 5, 7 from Scandinavia area, along with 2, 4, 5. 5 artillery. So let's move these 2 over here. Those will all be 1s. Those will all be 2s. Alright, here's our armor. 2, 4, 6. 6 tanks We got 2 mech following up here. We do have another battle, actually. That one Russian guy who's sneaked into eastern Poland because I left it undefended. Because these tanks and that mech can go 2, so that'll hit there. And that'll put them in position for next round. Alright, so 3, 4, really 5 battles in Russia, and the rest is non-com. So, if I can flip that screen around, I always forget, always. And it's just probably the camera's jerking all over the place as I try and do this from the back. Oh, come on. How hard can that be, right? It's still hard. Alright. So we'll get our tray in the view here, which I think is going to be right here. Right on the gates of Leningrad. Alright, so in Stalingrad, we have an anti-aircraft shot on that bomber. 3, no good. Damage of 5, which would be 7. However, a minor factory is maxed at 6, so we're going to put 6 damage on there. And that is hurting the Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so there's 6 damage here. Of course, you're going to spit out. I get you. Alright. So let's just keep going from the south there. I got 2 German infantry at 1. I got a 3 and a 4 for the fighter and Stuka. 2 hits, which is just what they needed because there's 2 Russian infantry at nothing. Alright. This was a walk-on. Here we have 2 tanks and a mech going against eastern Poland. No hits. I could have rolled those together, actually. Uh-oh. Russia hits 1. Let's roll them together. The green is the Russian infantry. Nothing. There. Oh, that sucked. As Germany, they lost a tank and a mech to kill 1 Russian infantry and gain 1 IPC territory. And those were reinforcements heading towards the front. So it's almost like partisans popped up there in Poland, punched the Germans right in the face as they were railing to the front. Alright, walk on. So we got the big battle now. No planes, so that anti-aircraft gun is to no use. So what do I have here? 8. I have 10 ones. Alright, so here's 5. Nothing. Second wave of 5. 1 hit. Alright, and I have 10 twos. So the first wave of 5. 2 hits. Second wave of 5. 3 hits. So that would be 6 hits so far. And then I have 6 tanks. Ouch! 1 hit. So Russia loses 7, so they'll lose the anti-aircraft and 6 guys. Alright, so there's 14 infantry, so we'll do 2 rounds of 7. 2. 4. So really, even though the Germans rolled poorly on their armor, pretty close battle casualty wise. Alright, so Russia has 8 left. 2, 4, 6, 8. So there are 8 ones. I think I can get that all in one here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nothing. That's what I like to see. Alright, 10 twos. We'll do it 5 and 5. 1 hit. So that's 3 hits total. Now we got the armor at 6. 3. So that was 6 total. So that will leave the Russians with 2 infantry. And they have 8 right now. Fire back. First 4 miss. Ouch. That's the problem with defending with 2s. You could really get spanked. And the Russians just did. They have 2 guys left. And honestly, with what's left for the Russians, or the Germans, I'm just going to roll the 2 Russians and concede. And they didn't get anything. So that was a waste. With those results, I probably should have pulled all those guys out of Leningrad instead of letting them sit there. Alright, so 3 for Leningrad, 4, 5. So Germany up 5 and Russia down 5. And let's land that bomber back in Romania. We got 2 guys there. We're going to slide all our forces up into the Ukraine. And I will chip that out between turns because that is a crazy amount of stuff there. Land the planes in there. And we got a tank, 2 mechs in Romania. I think they're going to join the party here in Ukraine. Alright, so that was an attack that really miserably failed. All these are going to be in Leningrad. I'll chip all that out between rounds. I don't see a counterattack coming because they didn't. The forces that were in Leningrad did not whittle the Germans down enough. I mean, I would have 6, 3 artillery, 2 mech, and all those tanks. I don't know. That might be worth a counterattack. But that's going to free up that's the problem with Russia. You can counterattack either north or south, but you can never do both. Alright, well, that's the Russians' turn. So we're going to get this sub out of here. Move 1 sub down. Our whole fleet is coming back. With the exception of a destroyer, we're going to move the destroyer into the med. And we're going to bring those 2 guys from Gibraltar. I know the high command would probably say hold till the end, but we're not going to do that. Alright, so that's going to come in there. We're going to move this German transport and land a tank from Italy and infantry from Greece into Syria. So we're going to complicate matters. And now the German Air Force just got a boost for 5 planes from Gibraltar coming back. Let's see where I can go with these. I'm going to move attack and this fighter up out of Italy. We're going to land it, let's see, 1, 2, 3. We can go all the way up there to Ukraine. So we get them on the front lines to do what they need to do. I'm going to put 1 fighter in Rome, and the other are going to head up here to Western Germany. So we can start building a counterattack to the Allied forces. Alright, so that transport moved 2 guys. That transport and the med moved. These guys are just going to march. And I'm going to leave these guys here alone. I think I'll move that artillery back into Paris. Alright. right, that looks like about it. I've got bombers where I think they need to be, although there won't be any attack here on Normandy. 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I think I'm going to move one German bomber to use that air base in Rome if I need be.
Oh, you got destroyed. Yes. Yes.
All right, so let's place some guys. Got this factory in Greece. Place an infantry, tank, and a mech. We got this factory in Romania, which is going to get 2 infantry and a tank. Never mind. I got this factory in Crimea, which is going to get 2 infantry and the artillery. I'm going to put a tank, 2 tanks and a mech in Romania. 1 tank in Germany. That leaves 4 guys and a fighter in Western Germany. 2 guys in Germany, 2 guys in Western Germany. Give me something to do with that transport. And Russia is still convoying Germany in 2 spots, so I will roll 5 and a 6 in Germany, so nothing there, and off Normandy, a 5 and a 6. So no convoy dollars this turn. So that leaves Germany at 65, but they did pick up a $5 objective for having Leningrad, plus the one that they had, so that would be a total of $75 for, well, $76, I see, $76. So, get that money going here. Get on to Russia's turn, who is suffering. Alright, so if we look at the counterattack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 twos and 6 threes. So they can, well, they won't be able to match the twos, but with those planes, still got that ship there. You know, that might be worth counterattack, because the British forces are coming up from the south to kind of help out. So I think let's do that. Let's counterattack that. So Russia, I'm going to set them up here. And we got 2 mechs. Alright, so it's going to be 5 ones, 6 twos. And then these tanks. And the question is, do I just bring everything? And then they're going to head towards Moscow. Or is this a hit and run type operation? Let me see what I got here. On the plane side, I got 2 tacticals and 2 fighters. So that might keep off those Russian tanks, those 2 tanks from here. I might leave those. We're going to hit these 2 German infantry. Let's see, the planes flying from Russia will be 1, 2, 3, so they'll have 2 left, so they can't get back to Russia this turn. Oh, I forgot to put these Germans back in there. That's 5 more Germans. Now that attack seems a little more painful. But if we're going to do it, let's throw in those other 2 tanks. We will see how round 1 goes of that battle. And then that's going to be a cheesy battle down south. Let's take the artillery from Stalingrad. We're going to move 1 guy up to Smolensk just to keep that off. All right, well, all of Moscow is watching the battle up north. Let's see, I haven't moved the camera any. So when we lay these, move these Germans up here to Norway, they can still roll there. No German anti-aircraft, so the planes are free to go. All right, 5 Russian ones. 1 hit. Now I got 6 at 2 because of the artillery. 2 hits. So really not a very good first round so far. But here comes the meat. 5, 6, 7, 9 threes. So there is 4. 4 of 6. That was a pretty dang good roll. That one. There we go. Not good out of the second. And then the 2 4s. Alright, so that turned into a punishing round. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is 5, 10. So all the German infantry just perished outside of the mechs. So let me roll the ones that just cashed it in. There's 1 hit there. Alright, 3 out of the casualties. So what do I have left? 2, 4, 5. So I have 7 2s left for the artillery and mech. Oh, that's only 2. Alright, tanks. I have 6. Oh, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So 9. So basically the Russians traded 9 units for 10 German units. The downside is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, to proceed is going to cost the Russians all their tanks. What to do, what to do. I think Russia will proceed. All right, so they have 2 2s. Nothing. Uh-oh, it's a bad omen. All right, here's 5 of the, oh no, Russia should not have moved forward. Oh, well, there's some saving grace there. Wow, that could have been so much worse. So that is 6 units. So the 2 mechs and 4 of the artillery. All right, so that would be 7. All right, 2. 5. So 2, 5. All right. Now, the Germans' land units far outnumber the Russians, and they cannot afford to lose any air. But there's those German tanks sitting there. We'll go one more round and see what happens. Might be a mistake, but who knows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Oh, wow. And here's the 4s. Oh, blanks. Dang it, they really needed that. So 1, there's 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, all right. So German response is 3. Alright, so it's 2 German tanks against 2 Russian tanks in the air. I think we have to go after that. But it's really gonna suck in the south because the Germans are breaking out of the south. There's no doubt about that. If the Russians, well, the Russian tanks can back up and they can get some artillery in there because there's really only the 2 German tanks and 1 infantry. There's not much of a counterattack coming. Alright, well, we'll press despite not believing it's the right thing to do. Oh, could have had that roll at the beginning. Alright, if Germany gets 2 tanks, it was all for nothing. 2 hits. And they do. Not losing any Russian planes. Not doing it. Alright, so Germany holds. They've been eliminated in the north for the most part. But the south is going to be a problem. So they have to land here. They got 2 to move. Alright, oh, we got a battle down south. 2 2s and a 1 for Russia. No hits. Germany has 2 2s. Nothing. Alright. Round 2. No more hits for the Russians. Germany, oh, that's it. Russia's done. They lost 2 on that attack. So that artillery came from Stalingrad. So we'll put it back there. So they didn't take any territories, but they destroyed the German Northern Army. So, what can get to Leningrad? They can repair this factory and place 3 units. Those are in France. So they can get 1 infantry and a tank and some planes with those 3. So we can set up by moving all this artillery. Moving all that artillery up. And that tank to there, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be a counterattack. Who knows? Alright, so they've landed. We're going to bring this anti-aircraft gun up because no more bombing's going on down there in the south, that's for sure. Moscow gets an extra 5 guys from Siberia. We'll move the extra guy into Tambov. I don't know if you can see all the way to the Chinese border, but we are going to back up 1 more turn, and that's where we're going to hold our ground. We'll leave 1 guy to keep that tank from blitzing. You know what, that tank's, it can blitz if it wants, and it'll be by itself and be easy pickings on the next round. Alright, that is where we are for Russia. And with Stalingrad's factory damage, we're not gonna build there. So we've got 5 infantry and a tank that I was planning on building there. That's 6 units. So I'll put the other 4 infantry in Moscow. So that was 10 total units. And the counterattack for Russia is pretty much over. They have lost all their punch. And now they are in defense mode. But they are up on 29 on the... Well, the camera automatically shut off at the end of that Russian turn. looking at the last frame, I believe you got to see the rest of that Leningrad battle and how that played out. If not, the Russians killed every German there, but would have had to lose a plane to take it, which wouldn't be worth Russia losing a plane for $3. The factory is damaged, so the Germans have to, well, they'll repair it and then build on it, so it'll still cost them money to get there, but their attack in the north has been eliminated for a turn or two. So on to Japan. Let me see what's in the view. Alright, so I'll do Russia later, where there's no attack, it's just a walk-on attack up there. But we're going to hit Burma, we're going to hit those two Chinese, and we're going to try and take this objective for having all four of the, what they call the Spice Islands, or Money Islands, however you want to call it. But it's Sumatra, Java, Borneo, and Celebes. Throw that up there for that Russian turn, or Russian territory. Alright, so coming into the two guys here on Burma is going to be everything on the ground, which is quite a bit. So basically I'm just going to declare that they would get that kill, those two kills. I've got these two bombers that can't reach anything else. I don't want to damage the factory in Calcutta anymore because I do have to, you know what though, I can stop them from building, so we'll do that strategic bombing. All these planes are going to hit Szechuan, those two infantry, so hopefully there's no losses there. And in Java, we are going to bring down that battleship and cruiser. The sub is going to move somewhere else, I believe. These two carriers with all those planes. And we have one transport in Celebes. And then we've got Hong Kong, which will bring down its transport with that naval base. So we have 4 land units, 4 aircraft, and 2 bombardments. And the other thing, this lone transport out here at New Britain, I don't have any planes that can reach it, so I'm going to have to sacrifice a destroyer to kill that. That would be an automatic kill, and the rest will be non-com movements. You grab some dice for, and UK Pacific, I don't feel, I can scramble or intercept. I got 3 planes, but in London earlier they lost one on that, and they really need those planes for defense, so we'll just roll the anti-aircraft for the factory 2s. How about that? Alright, so they are damaged, no hits, so they have to land there in Yunnan, which is okay because all these planes are going to come back and land there anyway. So that worked out nicely. Alright, so up here I'm just going to roll the 2 infantry and they get a hit, so I lose a plane. We're going to lose a fighter because I got some tanks that can make that those tacticals on combined arms up to a 4. And then in Burma, 1 guy. So losses in both battles. The plane obviously was a bigger loss than the infantry for Japan. But that eliminates China outside of their big stack, which is starting to become a problem. Alright, so Burma, battle again for $3 more. UK Pacific is in trouble. So we've got the Java battle here. I've got a bombard, a battleship, I got a cruiser bombardment, I have 2 fighters, 1 tank, 2 tacticals. I don't have another red dice. Let me grab another red one. Thought I brought everything I needed, but I didn't. Alright, So that leaves 2 for the artillery infantry and then a 1. And we got to get 4 hits. There's 2 infantry and 2 fighters on Java. And we got 3 hits. Alright, so they will have 2 and 2 back at Japan. And they get 3 hits. Well, that is a kicker in the groin. So we'll lose the 3 guys, or the 2 guys in the artillery. Alright, what appears to be a loss for Japan is a plane here. There's the remaining. They get the hit. Alright, Anzac fighter. Yep, they get a tactical. I'm going to lose a tactical because the fighter defends at 4. There might be some defense coming here. Alright, so that does give Japan its first objective since not being at war with US, as if they needed more money. Alright, so there's a tank there, 2 transports. We're going to move down this destroyer. I think we're going to move the sub up to this naval base, just for the fact that there might be something to pick off or attack. The bombers had to land there, they're damaged. The planes landed there. We got a tank in Hong Kong that can move in there. We've got a tank that moves into Hunan. This transport will come down here. 1, 2, 3. So the British ships can't get to it, the planes can't get to it. We've got a bomber here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nowhere to land, so it's safe. So we're going to bring down those 2 guys there. And also a transport from Japan with an artillery. Let's bring the artillery in a tank. Alright, so they can also help in that swing around battle for Calcutta on the next turn. And we don't need to protect it because there's really nothing that can hit it. As I'm looking around, making sure. U.S. bomber, that's too far away as well. Alright, so I have another transport which is going to bring 2 guys down to the Philippines. And let's see. Move that camera so we can see up north. Get it closer maybe. Get those other non-com moves in. Japan's advance in Russia is going to end right here. We're going to try and move these tanks down 2. Just keep sliding. Oh, well, I guess we got to leave that guy there till one of those gets there. We're going to move some guys into here. And we're going to hold our ground and see what happens, because we don't want to. There's a lot of Russians and there's a lot of Chinese. So they're obviously going to come out into that, but at least, you know, they can't really attack anything. Alright, so up here we're going to pull back a destroyer, leave all our ships here for a counterattack on the US. So even though the Japanese fleet is now kind of split up and going in different directions, they still have a turn to get back depending on where the US go to counter the US move. Alright, so I've got the Calcutta attack set up for next turn. The British have to decide if they want to counterattack Japan, but they could burn up all their forces and then Calcutta's a walk-on. But we'll have to look at that.
I got him.
So let's place our units.
No, there's another. There's another.
We've got 3 tanks going into Hong Kong. We got 1 tank, 1 mech, and 1 infantry in Shanghai. And the rest of our forces, 3 infantry and another artillery in Japan, with a sub, 2 destroyers, and another carrier. Alright, so Japan is safe for the moment. However, it does appear, though, I should have probably bought a transport for Japan. All my transports are in the south. Oh well, that's how it goes sometimes. Alright, for the US turn. Make sure I got time to do this before that cuts out. Alright, so I put them all on the task marker here, which will be this red. The US is going to come into this naval base here at Carolinas with 4 transports. So we bring over 4 guys, and only got 3 artillery. I guess we'll bring 5 guys and 3 artillery. That was sometimes when you stack them that deep, on an island, you lose track of what you have. All right, so it's not the most efficient attack, but there is a bombardment there with 3 and a 4 for the cruiser battleship. Actually, 2 cruisers. None of the planes can make it. This bomber might be able to. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, can't land on New Britain. Alright, so island hopping, unless your planes and on the carriers are fairly close, they can't be used. So set up that. The other moves on the other side of the board are walk-ons because Germany left Gibraltar. So I'll just move that when I move the camera over there. So there's the bombardment. I'm going to have 3, so I'll have 6 at 2 and 2 at 1. Alright, the goal for Japan here is to whittle down as many US forces, which makes the goal for the US not to lose anything. 5 hits, so there's only 3 units there. Japan fires back, and I have no idea if that's in, oh it was, in the camera. They get 1, so ideally, well, I guess they got 50%, but it would have been nice if they could have taken out at least a full transport's worth of units. But on this map, as you can see, the Caroline Islands is worth 2. So it makes it worth taking. So that whole chip will be there. I left 2 destroyers back at Pearl with the fighter cover because I'm moving a transport down. So mark that and move the appropriate number on the board. So US is up to 65 plus their bonuses. Alright, so another transport comes down. I'm going to bring the planes, infantry, artillery. This bomber, we're going to fly down to the airbase in Queensland. Make sure, just remember that's there. And these task markers are kind of cool. You can see through them. So you can kind of see what's going on. Don't have to guess where you're at. Don't need any other dice for the other board, as over here, basically a walk-on. So Gibraltar is worth 2, so Germany will lose 2, and we're going to go ahead and hit Morocco, take away, well, they already lost that bonus, but we're still going to take away a point from Morocco. and that will be a point for the U.S. So Britain will move back up. They're up to 44. U.S. at 66. Alright, markers. And of course we come across, there's 2, 3, 4 transports. So we'll put 2 and 2. We'll put the tanks down here so they can race across the desert. And the artillery up here. We can't land any planes because we just took the territory, so they'll stay on the carrier. 2 cruisers, 4 destroyers. And then this 5th transport, we're going to go down to Brazil with a tank, and we're going to activate Brazil and give the U.S. an extra $2 there. So we'll move them up 2, so they'll end the turn at 68 plus their bonuses, which is 20, so that's $88 for the U.S. They are the lead money earner for this turn, and maybe for a couple of turns, and maybe Germany is still a ways down. They get some more national objectives, though. They might be able to catch up there. I did forget, again, the bombers. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hit Paris again. And we're not going to hit Western Germany because there is fighters there. So 3-1 is bad odds. So we'll hit Normandy. So the bomber hitting Paris has to fly over. So we'll roll that. Oh, damage. He's got to retreat. All right. Normandy, 5. So he drops a 6. That's the max damage there. So Germany will have to decide if they're going to repair that or let the Allies take a damaged factory. There isn't a ton of German forces there to defend it. So that will be a big question coming up next round. Alright, so that is it for the U.S. Most of our units were going on this Atlantic side. 3 transports and a full load of guys, and the rest will go on the Pacific. Now we're going to put 1 fighter over here. The Pacific, another destroyer and fighter and tactical, planning on losing those in the upcoming naval battle in the Pacific. Let me look at what time I got on this recording, see if I need to stop. It's at 18 minutes, so I think Britain can get through its turn. Let me do Britain, and then I'll stop it and do UK Pacific, because Britain really, we're going to move all these forces and join up here at Gibraltar, and in the south over here in Egypt we're going to attack Transjordan there. Can't do anything about Syria. So we're going to come up with this transport, man and artillery, a tactical bomber, and 2 cruiser bombardments. So let's get that roll. Oh, nothing. Can Italy take advantage of the situation? Nope, they failed. 2 hits. So Italy is gone. 1 hit back. Alright. So that action takes place. Britain up 1, Italy down 1. And somehow I hit the Italian marker. I'm going to have to count their territories up. I think that tripod leg must have kicked it out. Alright, he'll go back. Alright, so non-com. Basically, I'm going to drive another tank up. The mech is going to come up 2. I'm going to take this artillery and infantry over here to the Middle East. And I'm going to grab these, and I'll do that on the Pacific turn, place them. And we're going to march, drive 2 tanks into Stalingrad, and oh, but wait, the Germans and Italians. Alright, well, see that? That changed things there. We're going to have to defend Iraq there. Alright, well, complicated in the Middle East and Africa. And I will move those forces over from Canada down to Gibraltar. While I'm here, I did buy 2 tanks and a mech for the Persia factory. 2 infantry and artillery for South Africa. And then a fighter to replace the one I lost in London. And a transport for Canada, and then I'll build on that transport next turn. Alright, shut that off and then we'll go to UK Pacific. Okay, so after some thought here on UK Pacific, because initially I thought, yeah, I'm going to hit that, destroy all that, but you know, most likely lose all those British units, probably not the planes. But there are 4 transports within range of Calcutta with 6 units. So that means Calcutta is gone if you do that. And really, honestly, even if you stay, it's probably gone. But I think I'm going to stick with the fighters defending, and we're going to move these artillery back for the counterattack. You know, if perhaps Japan takes Calcutta with 1 or 2 units, you know, that we're going to send that guy forward. We're going to leave these 3 for a possible counterattack, along with these 2, which I might, you know, I might have to use those in the African theater. And this rest of that UK Pacific Navy is going to head to join up with the others, but they've got to turn because nothing can hit them right now. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess those planes on that carrier can do that. Alright, so we're going to pick those up right now and slide over 1. And we're going to land them in Persia. So we have a counterattack punch if we need it, but I don't know that it'll matter. If not, they'll start marching backwards. And we'll leave all these guys here to face the full wrath of the Japanese. Not fix the factory. But we do get to place 4 units, so that helps. So we're going to add a tank so they got a little extra firepower there, since I can only place 4 units. Now maybe Japan is wiped down to the bare bones like the Russian attack on Leningrad, and they can take it right back. And maybe it's a seesaw battle long enough, because I don't know, I haven't really decided what the U.S. should do at this point. I guess it depends on where the Japanese fleet moves to on this next turn. The other thing I did forget was China. Completely forgot their turn. So they're going to walk in there because there's no one there, and they're going to send the whole house and replace their one unit that they bought, and they get to collect $5. And maybe they can make some noise on the next turn. So now we're up to Italy, and that decision is what to do in the Med. And I think what they're going to do is, of course, now they got the U.S. here to worry about, although there's not near enough U.S. forces there to try and take Rome. So I think we're good at least for that turn. But what we're going to do is bring down 2 transports full, and we're going to send these 2 transports back. So we're trading 2 transports out. We're going to send 2 infantry and the 2 fighters in the bombardment into Transjordan, cut off those tanks, and then we're going to put these guys into Syria. So we got that going. Is Gibraltar on the screen? Yes. All right, and then we're going to do not a naval bombard, but a strategic bomb of the naval base at Gibraltar. We're going to try and punish the movement there, at least for the U.S. turn. All right, so any other movements? I think, oh yeah, there was a movement up here in Russia. What did I want to do? I wanted to hit something. You know, I could take Bryansk. But it doesn't really get me any can opener style moves because I can't really get at Moscow. I can get to that tank and 2 artillery, which I might do. But I'll think about it. So that'll be a can opener possible move. But the failure of Russia to take that is going to allow Stalingrad and the Caucasus to fall. But then Britain's going to be sending more stuff up, so that is the quandary that they are in. Alright, so let's get the dice tray. So the bombardment is a 3. Nope, that's all they got is a cruiser. They got 2 fighters and 2 ones. Alright. 3 hits. They only needed 1. Britain fires back, misses. Alright. So the seesaw game in the battle for Transjordan continues. Thought there was an Italian marker. Oh, I put it in Russia as a. Grab another one here. Alright, up in Russia it is 2 1s and a 3. Nothing. Russian is a 2. Nothing. I can roll that together because that Russian will be the green dice. Huh. Can opener successful. So Russia down another one.
I got it.
Alright, I will have to count because Italy's gotten moved off its spot, so I'll have to count that up when this turn's over. Alright. I'm wondering, I've got if they can survive that counterattack or not. Because you'll have 3 tanks, artillery and a man. You know what? Germany's going to get some more units in there.
I got it. Yes.
Oh well. No need to sacrifice another Italian plane. But we do have the Gibraltar battle on that strategic bomb on the naval base. So here will be the anti-aircraft. Here is their roll 4. So that'd be 6 points of damage. And the naval base marker.
Where'd you die from? Behind you? I see him. I critical hit him.
So that's going to hurt U.S. ability to get transports back to the U.S. because, you know, their next build will be just units to move on those transports. But honestly, they could go to southern U.S. on this map. If you look here on the Global 40 map, I believe this is extended over here to Texas. So this sea zone does nothing for you on the Global 40 map as far as moving to. But on this map, you know, you could come back here. So maybe I shouldn't have even attempted that bombing raid, but keeps them, I guess, from going into the Med 3 spaces. Alright, so this bomber, I believe, has to land here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So the bomber lands there. Let's protect the bomber with a couple infantry. Alright, so we march them down there. And let's place the Italians. They're building up in Syria to either go Iraq or Egypt, depending on what looks best here. So we're going to put a fighter there and 2 infantry. So I'm going to take this infantry off and put that green ship there and just move him north to that other factory with the 2 tanks that I built. And there was no artillery there, right? No. Alright, so all that is in the north. And that is it for Italy. France on its turn. Yeah, they're good. So we have Anzac, which is the last to move. I mean, technically, France is the last, but while the camera was over there, I thought I'd do their turn, and they did their turn pretty well, I thought. Anzac, they got punished there in Java. Their only move here, they're going to come up, hit that, the bomber 1, 2, and then it'll make it back to I'm going to move that up. Bomber will be able to make it back to the air base here in Queensland. And let's roll. The dice. So going up against that destroyer is a 2 and a 4. 2 hits. Destroyer back. Nothing. Japan fails. Anzac succeeds. Alright. So we're going to place a factory in Queensland now that the U.S. is down here to give some protection. We can start building up here, and they'll be in a better position to counterattack things. And that will be the end of that turn. And it looks as if turn 6 is done. China is at $5. Anzac, they are not that high. I'm going to have to count Anzac and Italy. Both of those got moved. UK Pacific at 10. Russia 28. Britain 44. US 68. Germany 66. And Japan 78. And there you have it. Until next time.